Yo, what's up? In this video, I'm going to walk you through a 3 month framework to completely transform your social life, where you can literally go from being super awkward and super shy to having an abundance of people in your life within 3 months. So let's get right into it. As the title or this thing says, you can go from that guy to that guy in 3 months. It's super easy. From my own personal experience, I've gone from like three outside of event friends, so essentially friends that I'll see without having to be at uni with them or at the gym with them, like three people I see outside of a specific event, excuse me, to having a full schedule where every single week, pretty much whenever I have free time and I want to see someone, there's someone available, which is super good. And these are people who I actually value and who value me, not just some guy that I think is all right. Just to be clear, because I don't think going to the pub with like 10 guys counts as real friends. And also on the dating side, because I do, in this channel, I do believe that becoming a better person socially works for both making platonic and romantic connections, at least obviously initially. I've gone from having pretty much zero female interaction to several girls asking me for my number and my Instagram, not the other way around. And I don't think it's realistically you can think that, oh yeah, I've just became way better looking in 3 months because, there's only so much you can do, right? So realistically, that as well as the first one are both a product of this social transformation. And so I've tried to whittle it down to three concise points, which you can do to try to emulate what I did. And what's also super good is that by myself, with no guidance, I made this transformation in 3 months. So you're literally getting a step by step and you're getting told exactly what worked for me and what didn't. And so you should be able to make an even bigger transformation than me. Maybe you'll make the same transformation as me, but in 2 months. So yeah, stick around, pay attention, watch it again if you have to. This is gold. So, firstly, you want to. Sorry, I just saw that picture. You want to fix your brain. So, a lot of people skip this step, and it's why results go nowhere, and that's why all these YouTube channels on like socializing are all wrong. Because from what I've learned and from my own experience, socializing begins with fixing your own mindset and fixing your own mental image. Because if you want others to view and treat you better, but you view and treat yourself as bad, why the hell would they treat you well? Because you subconsciously project your own views of yourself onto others. This is super, super true. So, for example, let's say I come up to you and I go, "Hey, how's it going?" Or I go, "Hey, how's it going?" I look the same, I say the same words, but it's a completely different interpretation because on the one I'm awkward, maybe I'm thinking that I look weird or I'm just bad socially, and then you read that as this guy's a bit strange, what's his deal? Whereas in the second one it just seems relaxed, confident, like, oh yeah, this guy seems all right. You know what I mean? So if you're thinking, oh, I'm such a loser, I'm probably going to screw this up, your delivery, your tone of voice, your body language will mirror that, and you will actually seem more timid and weak and needy. But if you come from the angle, something like, let's see if this person's worth my attention, let's see where this interaction goes, you come off as much more confident, powerful, etc. And so, as well as them receiving you better, any potential rejection is also handled immensely better. And so that brings me to this rule. It doesn't roll off the tongue too well, the 73855 rule. They need a better name for it, but basically the logic is that when you talk to someone, only 7% of the interaction has actually got to do with what you're saying, specifically like the content of what you're saying, and the other 93% is your non-verbal thing. So your tone of voice is 38%, and your body language, so, your signals, open, closed, eye contact, facial expression, stuff like that makes up the bulk of it. And this is true in both friendships and dating. The exact same principles involved. Um, and so yeah, sorry, my brain just turned off for a sec. When you come into an interaction with the mindset that, oh yeah, I'm weird, or I'm a loser, or I'm ugly, or I'm gonna screw this up, or I'm awkward, the 93% will push that message. And even if the 7% is confident, you know, the math doesn't add up, right? The 93% is going to win out, and the reverse is true too. So what you need to do as well is for this mindset thing is you can shift your interpretation of other people's reactions. So instead of, like if you say joke, instead of, I'm not funny, shift it to they don't get my humor, or I'm boring, we don't have the same interests, or even they're boring, right? This will enhance your confidence, which will enhance your 93%, which will enhance other people's reactions, which will enhance your confidence, and so on, right? It's a positive feedback loop. That's the beauty of this, is that once you start, everything just improves faster and faster. Um, and so lastly, what's super important, and I just recorded a separate video on this, but you want to not pedestalize people. So what that means is don't put people up in your brain above you and think about you as needing to get their approval and like make them like you, right? What you need to remember is people are just people too. Like they still eat, poop, have insecurities, vices, addictions, bad relationships. Because when we interact with people, we only see the version they want to display publicly, right? Only the version they reveal to the world. It's like when people get in a relationship and then their boyfriend or girlfriend seems so perfect, and then 3 months in they're like, "Oh, this bitch is crazy," or this guy's a dickhead, right? Because slowly they start to reveal, like the truth starts to seep out, and the real person starts to seep out. Whereas at the start they try to put on a front of the ideal person, right? And so in a relationship, that's when you spend intense time together for a long time. But 99% of your social interactions, you never get to know that person deeply. And so you'll basically see someone's a polished, hidden away version, and you'll try compare the version of yourself, which obviously you know yourself better than anyone. You know all of your insecurities, all of your problems, and you'll try compare that version of yourself to this glass half full perfect version of someone else, and then you'll think that's a fair comparison, which is like retarded, right? The logic of this picture, by the way, it's like there's some chick and she posts this on Instagram, and then this was like a photo of her in a party, and you could see like it's a pretty stark like contrast between how she looks IRL versus on Instagram. And so that's like the sort of metaphor for how people present themselves versus how they truly are. So just remember that however perfect and enviable someone may seem, they have some things they're hiding away which are probably super embarrassing, super sucky. And so impressing them really isn't worth that much. Like they're just some guy, they're just some chick at the end of the day, right? And so by not constantly seeking other people's approval, you actually become more likable because you stop becoming needy and desperate, and you start seeming like the one bringing the value. And so this shifts the power dynamic because now you're bringing the value rather than you're seeking the value. Like you're bringing it. I'm sorry, I'm imagining like a hierarchy where like you're standing above them versus them standing above you. That's why I'm like doing this with my hand. But like instead of looking up at them and like asking like, please, mommy, give me attention. Now it's like I'm giving you attention. Let's see if you deserve it. You know what I mean? And this isn't like in an oppressive power, whatever. You know what I mean, right? Like it's like you get what I'm saying. Um, this is pretty interesting. I'm not going to spend too long talking about this, but basically, this is like the social anxiety feedback loop. You can pause this if you really want to read it thoroughly, but this is essentially what I was saying up here of if you think you're going to screw this up, then you start, sorry, you start acting and communicating that like through your words and your actions, and then people start receiving your energy as such and then start treating you like that, which then sends a message back to your brain, which then makes you extend it further. So basically that's what this is saying. Just thought that was interesting. So now we fix the mindset. The second part is to put in the reps. So this is where the fun begins. It's time to actually put your new identity into practice, because obviously it's great to know all the theory, but if you don't do anything about it, you haven't really changed. So I would put step 6 here. It should say step 5, but yeah, that's my bad. But don't try starting at step 5. Just work through the process, and I guarantee it'll work for you. So my personal progression, what I did is I chose a repeated environment. So for me, that was the gym, but I could imagine it would work similarly if you're in a store or a uni class, whatever, right? So just choose some environment. And so what you want to do is begin conversations among entry or exit, or among like regular interactions. So again, at the gym, it was talking to the people at the front desk, because usually if I go at the same time of the day, I see similar faces at the front desk. hello, goodbye, how's your shift, etc., right? Um, and you can do that at a store as well. And at a uni class, obviously you can modify that slightly, like, hello, how's it going? How you going with the subject, etc. Now, step three is basically continuing on those relationships. So you just want to build the bonds deeper. So if, again, in the gym analogy, you could start saying, oh, how long have you worked here? Why do you want to work here? What do you do outside of this? What's your name? Stuff like that, right? You build the connection deeper. And again, in uni, mid-class chats, right? You understand what I'm saying? You ask more personal questions. You start to build a relationship. Um, and then the next step is you choose a new environment and repeat. So, like I said, I've done this in stores now, and I've done this in uni. And so, yeah, it's definitely doable across multiple environments. And then number five is now extrapolated to strangers. So basically, what this is when you see people every so often in the gym, they are strangers in the sense you haven't spoken to them, but like you're still familiar to them. So it's slightly easier. So basically, all of this gives you practice to then just be complete strangers who you only see once, and you just make that interaction. Or you're at the gym and you see someone for the first time, and you go straight to the step three. You go straight to developing those deep bonds. And it's pretty hard to do that right from the get-go, which is why I've designed this progression. And like I said, I've done this personally, and it's worked wonders for me. And just like that, if you do this properly, it's done. You've easily reached the top 5% in social confidence. And even if you have no real desire to make friends with strangers, just use it as practice to reveal your true self, to reveal your true sense of humor, and to communicate I guess, your real personality, how you want it to be communicated, rather than from a place of shyness, weakness, timidness, etc. Like I was saying up here, if you can just practice communicating your true thoughts unapologetically, then you just naturally improve those skills, even if you have no real need for the strangers. Just use it as like practice. And one, it's much harder opening up to someone who you've never met before, which skyrockets your confidence. So again, if you talk to random strangers like this, then suddenly talking to that guy you see every single day is going to be like so easy, right? Like you can say way more in front of him without worrying. And the second thing is the reverse is also true. Like if you never see this person again because you just randomly ran into them on the street, you can just say what you want. Like if you say the wrong thing, who cares? So it's quite low risk. So pretty beneficial. And then step three, welcome to the new you. You should get to the stage where you can just, sorry, I'm just laughing at this stupid little meme, where you can reveal your true self in any and every scenario, because that's the end goal of this, right? Like the whole end goal of this is to stop worrying, thinking about subconsciously, am I going to screw this up? And start just communicating authentically and communicating your true self. And so if you can get to that stage, you effectively won, because you can live that completely different life than how you started. And from my personal experience, most people are way less like judgmental than you believe. Like most other people are just bored, also just a bit awkward, and just waiting for the other person to make the first move, and are very excited to chat and are super friendly once you break the ice. And another thing, this is more of an internal benefit, but I found this again super useful for me, is by revealing your true self and not being scared of other people, you're more connected. So you're more connected with like your community. You view yourself as higher because you're not hiding yourself away, and you don't worry as much about other people's opinions. All things which personally have calmed me down dramatically, making me feel a lot more confident, making life feel easier and just more fun. Because again, if you think about it logically, if you're constantly withholding your true personality from other people, the message you're sending to your brain subconsciously is, I must be weird or strange or whatever, because if I wasn't, I would just say what I believe. But what I believe must suck, or what I think must be stupid, because otherwise, why would I not share it with other people? Why would I purposely control it, right? And so it's a good confidence booster. So just give it a try. Your life can only improve from implementing this. And if you implement this properly, I guarantee you will see instant results. And within the 3 months, you'll look back at yourself and think, how the hell was I like this 3 months ago? Again, personal experience. People ask me for advice socially now, hence the creation of the channel. Because when I started this channel, it wasn't like that. I started it from a place of trying to improve, and then I felt like I didn't really have the know-how to actually give the advice to improve because I was sort of just figuring out as I went. But now I've had a lot of time to improve. I've really learnt the ins and outs of this, and so obviously I made the channel. I sort of gave up on socializing, and yeah, the last 3 months I've really improved it again. I've really put value into it, and I've seen such a big impact that now I have the tools to teach you about it. And so, yeah, personal experience, really would recommend doing this. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching. I hope this video was helpful for you. I may have like gone on a little bit, but I believe that I was covering most useful and interesting things. So yeah, if this video was helpful, I'll catch you in the next one. And if not, catch you in the next one anyway, because hopefully it's better. All right, cheers. See ya.